He's going all the way. 20, 15, 10. Touchdown. Texas Tech takes home the victory.
Welcome to another episode of the Broadway Shuffle with Clayton, Conrad, Zyler. I am Brennan. We appreciate you tuning in, whether on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or Texas Tech Plus. As always, make sure to hit the subscribe button on YouTube or follow on Spotify and Apple, and download the Texas Tech app for all the latest news and content. On today's show, we are going to give you our 2025 Texas Tech season predictions, playoff predictions, and who we think will win the Heisman Trophy. But first, gentlemen, we are going to go over the sad news that came out of fall camp briefly. The Quinton Joiner torn ACL will be out for the season. Zyler, first reaction to the Quinton Joiner news, and how big of deal is this for Texas Tech going into the season?
Yeah, I think he was your best do-it-all back. And to anyone that argues that it's not going to be a loss, I just don't. I think that's a little bit disingenuous. Now, do I think the ceiling is lowered, maybe a little bit marginally on the running back room? I think what it really does is lowers the floor pretty significantly, and not based on the production of the two guys, because Cam and Jacoby can both play. But if another one of those guys gets injured, that's where you're going to have real problems. And so that's where I think the floor is maybe lowered a little bit. And I think the pressure on, two true sophomores to deliver in the run game becomes that much more important. How good are they in the passing game? And then, that's just added pressure on Barron. You're not having an experienced guy in the backfield. You already don't with Taj. You're already taking a step back there. And so now you lose the most seasoned player. So yeah, it's a big bummer. I don't want to overhype the injury. I think, and this is maybe a terrible thing to say, but if you had to pick a starter on the offensive line to potentially lose for the year, I don't know that I would have picked Joiner, but there are maybe worse starters to lose, but it's still a blow no matter how you look at it. Quinton would have been a great piece for this offense, and he will be missed, and I hope to see him back fully healthy for 2026.
Yeah, Conrad, we got to see a glimpse of Cameron Dickey and Jacoby Williams last year coming in. I personally feel pretty good about them taking a step here in 2025. How confident are you in those two guys? And you've got Adam Hill and some other guys too, but specifically the two that saw reps last year, carrying that in and taking a step forward this season.
Yeah, looking back at those guys last year, you obviously had to feel really good about the prospects you have and about what they showed. I do think it's a little bit of an added pressure, though, because they're still relatively unproven. Obviously, Taj got, 85% of the carries last year, so it was a huge bulk that those guys didn't have to carry, that now it's all on them, right? I mean, now they couldn't have had a better guy to watch, a better guy to learn from, but Joiner obviously being the proven talent that we had coming in from USC, and now not having him, it's going to hurt. But I do think that Jacoby and Cam can do it. I think they've got a better offensive line than what Taj had to run behind last year, so I think that matters. I think you've got really good weapons on the outside, and I think you've got a fully healthy Barron Morton, and so hopefully it's not more pressure added on them. I think, if anything, as Zyler mentioned, it's more pressure on Barron. Like Cameron Dickey, and then Jacoby, they're going to be fine, but I think it's more pressure on the right arm of number two. And I think he's up for it. I think he's ready for it. I think you're going to throw the ball more now than you were, just because of the dynamics in that room. But overall, feel good about those guys. Just stings for Quinton, and really going to miss him in the red and black, because I think he would be a really, really good player. And I think he still can be for us.
Clayton, which guy do you expect to take the biggest leap?
I still think Jacoby Williams had a chance to be like our most explosive back. I'm not saying that Joiner wasn't the starter. I think Joiner would get more carries and might be more important to the team, but I've been super high on Jacoby all offseason, really since the Arkansas game, whenever he kind of exploded in that one. Another thing that I've been trying to keep in mind for myself, because I feel like when the news came out, it kind of felt like you were losing like Taj. But like Quinton had 63 carries last year, and Jacoby and Cam each had 41. So not saying like to discount Quinton, but more so I feel like the narrative is like, oh, well, now we're super inexperienced at running back. And honestly, we were either way. Totally. But I think the biggest part that this makes you susceptible to now is just injury. Like if you have an injury to one of those two guys, then going into a game with just one and Adam Hill, probably don't feel great about that. But if you can guarantee health, I feel good about the two guys that we have.
Yeah, Clay, that's a great point. Quinton had less than 600 yards from scrimmage last year. And once again, that's not to diminish what he did. What he did on a per carry basis was really good. But Jacoby and Cam had more yards from scrimmage last year. And I realize that's 2 guys versus 1. But all of them, like you said, were going to be somewhat of a projection at this point. I think now you just have less bullets in the chamber, hoping for somebody to be really good.
Yeah, man. Well, we wish Quinton or Conrad, you had a final thought?
Well, I just say I'm interested to see what will happen with. Obviously, you got Adam Hill back there as well as the third running back. But what are you going to do? With you got to have. I mean, you got to have more than 3 guys, right? Like you can't just. Who are you going to throw out there when you're up 75-0 against Arkansas Pine Bluff and 100-0 against Kent State and 115-0 against Oregon State? Like, what are you going to do at that point? And so I'm interested to see. I mean, who's going to be that guy? Like, are they going to put maybe throw a Roy Alexander back there, throw a TJ West back there, like to do some different things with these different athletic guys out of the backfield to kind of offset and kind of take some of those guys out of harm's way. I mean, even a guy with the athleticism and the ability of Micah, I think that could be a spot to kind of put him back there and do some cool things. So I'll be really interested to see with that because you do have to protect those guys at some point. You're not going to see the Taj spam obviously this year. So that'll be really fascinating to see what Mac and staff do with that position going forward.
Yeah, question for you guys. How many yards does Adam Hill have at the end of the year? If I said 250, are you going over or under?
Well, I'm going to go under 250.
I feel like, I may go under 250.
Conrad?
Oh, yeah, I'm going under for sure.
I'll take the over. Honestly,
I think I will too.
Because, I mean, let's just assume you're, if you're up by 21 points in these games, which we'll get to record predictions later, but in my prediction, you will be up by 21 points a lot. You're not going to leave Cameron and Jacoby out there, right? Like you're not going to do that. You got to put someone in. And so I think if you got, if you're up by that much and you've got Adam in there, I think he'll get more than 250 in 12 games. Is that outrageous?
Last year, Cam Dickey had 225, which is why I took the under.
Yeah. I think, that's a really good point. Where I'm projecting, I guess I'm going to assume that Cam or Adam is going to get 2 full halves to start the year and then a full quarter in the fourth. And so can he get 150 plus? And then somehow in some of your Big 12 games, are you beating people by 20 plus and he's coming to give you a spell? Because I think they're going to be you want to use Cam and Jacoby, but you've got to be careful with them. This is just a situation where there truly is. It's the one position on your roster you just don't have any depth. And I think they're going to, if they feel the game's in good hands, I think they're going to let Adam, churn out 3 yards a carry if they can. So yeah. I'll take the over, but I also wouldn't be shocked if he has like 40 yards at the end of the year. So
yeah, it's going to be an interesting room to watch for sure now, and wish Quinton the best in his recovery for sure. But excited to see what the guys can do stepping up. So, okay, well, let's get to what arguably the most exciting episode I've been looking forward to all offseason. It's prediction time. We've been talking all offseason. It feels like it's been the longest 2.5 months over the summer since really, I guess 3 or 4 since basketball ended, but getting to the most hyped Texas Tech football season since arguably 2008, 2009. It's time to see what we're going to do. You want to know what Tech's going to do? You're at the right podcast because all 4 of us think we're going to be right on our predictions. Conrad, I'll start with you first, man. Where will Texas Tech, what will Texas Tech's record be in 2025?
Yeah, I will say it is an honor to be the Kool-Aid man, even if some people don't like our show because we do believe in the Red Raiders. But this has been a long time coming, and I'll be honest. I've lost a lot of sleep about this because the way you can view this is from a lot of different angles, right? Like you can view it of what could go wrong and what worst case scenario. But that's not what I'm going to do. We still have not played a game. We still should be okay the first 3. We should start 3-0. And so what I'm going to say for Texas Tech in 2025 is that we will go 12-1 and we will lose to Arizona State in Tempe and we will beat Baylor in the Big 12 championship and go to the college football playoff. Now, again, I understand that some people will come at me in the comments and say that is an outlandish take. And you know what? It may be. But I believe in the Red Raiders. I believe in Joey. I believe in the staff. I believe in Barron and all the guys, like I'm here, and this is going to be the most epic football season in Texas Tech football history. I think we're going to go to the CFP. We're going to be Big 12 champs, and so we'll see what happens at that point. I don't know. That's where I'm at. Any pushback on that? Do you think I'm too optimistic? Maybe I should temper my expectations a little bit. How do y'all feel about that 12-1 prediction with beating Baylor in the Big 12 championship?
You just have to wait to hear my predictions, Conrad.
Yeah, let us know in the comments what you think of Conrad's. We're gonna go. Let's go to Z then. Z, you go next. Where will Texas Tech finish in December?
Yeah, I think when I look at this roster, it's easy to get caught up in what you hear at a fall camp. And I think the best way to analyze teams, outside of potentially bad news, is what did you think about the team in July? What did you think about the team coming out of spring ball? It's easy to get caught up in the camp hype. And I think there's 3 questions for me. Does the new scheme work, both offensively and defensively? Do all of the pieces fit together on the defensive side of the ball? Is the offensive line actually improved? And can Barron be better? I think we will answer yes to most of those questions. I don't know that we'll answer yes to all 4 of those questions. And so I'm still going to take us over. I think over 8.5 is a lock. It's my stone cold lock of the century, but I'm going to have us at 9-3, 6-3 in the Big 12. Great season. I think you drop one at Utah. I think your first Big 12 road game is tricky. I'll pick us against Kansas State until, I see evidence to the contrary that you can beat Kansas State. And then I think you'll drop another stupid one somewhere that you shouldn't lose. BYU at home or Houston on the road, something like that. If you don't do that, I think the pathway to not 10-2 is very clear. That's kind of how I see it playing out. Now, if I see Kansas State just drop an absolute stinker against Iowa State this weekend, I reserve the right to change my prediction. But that's where I'll have us now. Yeah. Oh, I'm playing the over, and hopefully it's enough to get you to the Big 12 title, but you never know.
You're allowed to have that right. This is your show. Yep. So you can reserve the right to whatever judgment you wish to have.
Sure.
All right, Clay. Come on, man. Where's Tech going?
Yeah, I'm splitting the difference between Conrad and Zyler. I have a set 10-2. I think we lose to Utah as well. I think that being our first Big 12 game with 2 new coordinators and a line that's trying to get healthy is not the place that you want to be. And then I think we dropped the Arizona State game. They definitely have that game circled, and that environment should be pretty crazy. I was actually trying to look through the schedule and find a game that I thought was like a surprise, like letdown spot. And I feel like Houston would be that if we didn't have a bye before it and didn't play Utah. Cause like if you drop the Utah game, you're really going to come back, have a bye. Yeah. And then lose to Houston. Like that doesn't seem likely. I think BYU could be it. I was a little worried about West Virginia, but with that being the last game of the season, like you would hope that you're playing for Arlington at that point. You don't drop that one. So I feel like if there's going to be a surprise loss, it'd either be BYU or Kansas at home. And I would be on suicide watch if we lost to Kansas. So
that's your worst nightmare. Yeah. All right. So we've got 12-1, 9-3, 10-2. I am also going 10-2 for Texas Tech in 2025. We're going to get destroyed if Texas Tech beats Utah because I also have Utah beating Texas.
I hope we beat Utah.
I hope we beat Utah. But I've seen comments like, why are people so high on Utah? Devin, I think he was called Dump here in our comments by, I think it might have been Kim. But it's just something that, I don't know. Like, I feel like you're going to lose that game, bounce back, get the bye, go to Houston, take care of business. I think you'll beat Arizona State. I like going to Tech and getting that win. You went to Tucson last year, got it done. I like that. I think you're going to drop a game. You're going to go 7 I think you'll go 7-2 in conference. So, but it's either going to be the Kansas State game to me. They're just physical. Playing in Manhattan is very difficult, or it's going to be a letdown game. Is it West Virginia? Is it BYU or Kansas, like you mentioned? Is it UCF? I hope that would put.
It will not be UCF.
It will not be UCF. But my point is I think 10-2 would be a heck of a year. And we'll get to our Big 12 prediction later. I do think some chaos is going to ensue in the conference where 10-2 will not get you in. But we'll get there. I'm going to get to my Big 12 chaos prediction tiebreakers, but I think that'd be a great year for Texas Tech. The Utah loss, I just want to say, if it happens, we're 6 weeks away. Don't be overly concerned. if you lose at Utah. I hope we win. I just want to be clear. But
I
that's
can't
gonna be a
wait for
tough game.
Utah. I can't wait for Utah to just be absolutely terrible this year, and for y'all to have to eat your words just like last year.
It's
I
not
know.
a Utah
like-
thing. It's a first road game for the McGuire crew thing. It's like we have never won our first road game under McGuire. It's always been like you either had Wyoming, you had Washington State, or you had NC State, and the best one of those was NC State in 2022.
Well, you've also
that's
never
nothing
been in
against
year 4. You've also never been in year 4 under Coach McGuire, and we know what happens in year 4 with Joey. So
You're exactly right.
If
You're
we
right.
do,
there's a
beat-
first time for everything. There's a first time for everything.
If we do beat Utah, I feel like we will jump to like the Big 12 favorite after that game,
Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
like pretty unanimously.
People are probably getting tired of me saying this, but that is your measuring stick game in my opinion. If you beat Utah, the Kool-Aid that I'll be consuming after that, it'll be unstoppable. I'll be gargling Kool-Aid all year. It just will. I will be convinced we're running the table if you beat Utah. Like that's
If you're not on Red River Sports right now, the way that people have reacted to the Joiner injury tells me that this is going to be an incredibly turbulent season. Like it is anarchy in there right now. I mean, it is like the first game we lose is going to be an absolute madhouse. And if you lose to Utah, you have 14 days to think about it before you play again. It'll be not a disaster, but it'll be a madhouse.
That's where I think, that's great. Hey, and Conrad, 12-1 would be fantastic, but even 9-3, we've debated this. We had Chris and Casey on, debated 9-3. We've had an episode about 9-3. That seems like the number. That's kind of the, is this good? Is this bad? But 3 of us do have 10-2 or better, Z. So, man, I cannot wait. We are literally 9 days away from our first kick at the time of this recording. It's coming up soon. So let us know what you think of our predictions. I'm sure I already know I'm getting hate. I already know the Utah slander's coming for me in the comments, and that's okay.
Hey,
I'm
Brennan, you
a
just need to be
program guy.
reminded
Like,
again, Cam Rising does not play for Utah anymore. Just need to know
it's not
that.
about Cam Rising. It's like, but it's a program thing for me. When you've had a coach like Kyle Whittingham who's consistently put a good physical team on the field, like that to me is I respect a guy like that. I respect a program like that. Mm-hmm. And I give them the benefit of the doubt. They've earned the right to have the benefit of the doubt coming into the year, because of their coach and what the stability that they've had over the course of the last 20 years. That's why I respect them. Fair?
Yeah.
Seems like No.
Maybe some people are.
Maybe I'm Mormon. I don't know. Maybe it's something I don't know.
Utah's
I don't
not
know.
the Mormon school, Brennan. That's BYU.
It's crazy to me that people will give Kyle Whittingham the benefit of the doubt, but not give Mike Gundy the exact same benefit of the doubt.
That's very true.
Well, but wouldn't people have given Mike Gundy? I mean, I would also say the same thing about. They had a horrible year last year, but I mean, I would say I feel the same way about Mike Gundy. I give him the benefit. Their program,
yeah, but he's not. We're not even considering the fact that we might lose to Oklahoma State.
I feel like their roster is just so much worse, though.
It is.
There's
worse. Also that.
And he had the turbulence with the administration. There was a lot more to that last year, for sure.
Very, very fair.
I would have said the same thing about Oklahoma State a year ago this time, before last year,
Oh,
without
totally.
any of the news. So, I would have expressed the same sentiment. And if you look across the Big 12, look how many coaches who's the third? Is it Leipold at Kansas? Who's the third longest tenured coach across those guys?
It's got to be
Campbell's
Chris
been
Kleiman.
longer.
It's
Campbell,
Kleiman,
yeah.
Gundy.
Matt Campbell. Yeah, another program I respect. So, I'm a big stability guy. I didn't have it growing up. I
It's crazy.
appreciate
Is Joey like fifth? Like him, Dykes, and Leipold are all in that range? Something like that. Like it's crazy how short of a time you have to be at a program to be like in the top half.
Aranda has to be there.
Oh, yeah,
too, 'cause
Aranda
he's
would be
longer than
higher.
Joey and Dykes.
Dykes came the same year as Joey.
Yeah, no,
Wow.
I know. I was just saying that
Interesting, man.
Aranda was longer.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
So-
It's just so. My other comment: Oklahoma State's roster actually was legitimately good. It's an absolute travesty that team was not better.
Dude,
Like
yeah,
that
it was
roster
good.
was legitimately good. They had a great
Yeah.
offensive line. They had Ollie Gordon. They
And
had a quarterback.
Conrad, the University of Utah student population is 36% Mormon. So just
A
so
debate that we should have gotten into
quiet.
this summer is if you gave last year's OSU roster Zach Kitley and Baron Morton, what would the record be? I think it might have been like 10-2.
I think it would have been so much. Their coordinator, I think, was just horrifyingly bad
Yeah.
last year. Kind of like an Arizona situation. Just had no idea what to do.
They also had, Alan Bowman starting a quarterback in year 12 of his college career also didn't help you very much. No offense to Alan. Hope you're doing well.
Anyway, we got to get to the playoff predictions, though. That's where I think it gets spicy.
Let's segue this. So Texas Tech, you obviously, Conrad clearly has Texas Tech in the playoff. The other, Clayton, Zyler, and myself did not say whether or not they'd be in the Big 12 championship game. So, Conrad, since we know one of your teams, how are you filling out the rest of the 12-team field?
Yeah, so Texas Tech will be the number 1 seed in the college football playoff. Just kidding.
Come on, man.
That's a joke. No, so okay.
They'd never. So I've got.
No, they'd never do that. ESPN would never allow that to happen.
ESPN would never allow that.
No, never. Okay, so for the ACC, I've got Clemson. Believe in them. Cade Klubnik is just. I think this is going to be a huge year for him. Wouldn't be surprised if he's in New York at the end of the year. I don't think he will win the Heisman Trophy. We'll get to those picks later. But I think Clemson will come out of the ACC. I think they'll be the only ACC team. From the Big Ten, I've got 3. Ohio State, pretty self-explanatory, defending national champion. Jeremiah Smith, Caleb Downs, all the talent in the world there. Julian Sayin playing quarterback for them. I think he's going to have a really good year. Penn State and then Oregon. I think those teams are going to just be Drew Allar, James Franklin. Now, what they do when they get to the playoff, that is not the topic of this conversation. And then for the SEC, I have LSU, Alabama, Georgia, and Texas all getting in. I think those will be 4 from the SEC. I think all those teams are just absolutely loaded. And then from the Big 12, like I already mentioned, Texas Tech, and then this hurts I need to go wash my mouth out with soap after saying this, but I think you will see Texas Tech and Baylor from the Big 12. It hurt to say that, but I got to be a truth teller at some point. And then I think the at-large will be Notre Dame, and then Group of 5 will be Boise State. So those are my teams. Let me know what you think in the comments. Again, if you're going to come after me for Baylor being in there, I totally get it. I probably want to change my mind, but again, just trying to be objective as I possibly can.
So wait, there was one team I thought you made a late change, it sounds like, because I had even teased this last episode that you were going to have a team from you were going to have the Gamecocks in the playoff, and now where'd they go? Where'd they go?
Well,
they're gone.
He cannot resist I was like, Arch Manning. He cannot. He calls Conrad.
This proves Conrad's a Texas fan.
This does not prove I'm a Texas fan. No. What's crazy is I didn't actually. I was looking at this and reading it off for our listeners and viewers. I was like, how did I not put Texas in there? Like, that's a top 5 roster in college football, and I think they're going to be better with Arch than they were with Quinn, and they made it last year. So it's like, wait, why did I do that? I had to, think on the fly and change that. So I don't know. I could see, there's a way in which LSU gets, has 4 losses. I mean, that schedule is ridiculously difficult. So if that happens, I mean, you could have LSU dropping out, Texas coming in, and then South Carolina being also good. I'm a big Lenora Sellers believer. I think Sellers is fantastic. I think he showed a lot of promise last year in another offseason, and then another year starting. I think he's going to do really big things. And they also added some talent. And so it would not shock me. I guess I could say South Carolina is my dark horse in terms of what they could do in the SEC. But again, it is the SEC. It is the best conference in college football. So then again, you may have some shakeups there that you may never know what to expect. So I guess I'll put them as my dark horse, but I will stick with LSU, Alabama, Georgia, and Texas from the SEC.
Okay. All right, Z, come on, man, you're up.
I will go ACC. I think Clemson's going to get there at 12-1. They're going to lose in the title game to Louisville. Louisville also makes it from the ACC. Big Ten, I'll have Ohio State, Penn State, and Indiana actually makes it back-to-back times. SEC is going to be Alabama, Georgia, LSU. The Big 12, Texas Tech makes it on the Big 12 tiebreaker. They actually go to the Big 12 title game. They win it, and they do get in the playoff. Baylor makes it as an at-large. Boise State is the Group of 5, and the 1 non-affiliated team is Notre Dame. This playoff setup, if it happens, if the ACC and the Big 12 both get 2 teams in, the Big 10 and the SEC will burn the whole thing down. And that's what I'm rooting for. That's what I'm hoping for. They're going to be super upset, and I'll be here for that. that's who I have in the playoff. I wanted to take some shots. I think Miami, low-key, has a chance out of the ACC. That was a team I thought about there. I think there's a real chance if you get the schedule draw in the ACC that you could rack up a ton of wins. And if you can just find a way to knock off, if Miami knocks off Notre Dame to start the year, they'll have that signature win. I think there's some opportunities for the ACC to have teams that are 10, 11 win teams, and those are going to be tough up against those 9-3 SEC teams, even though those schedules are really, really impressive. That's what I'm rooting for. I'd love to see 2 Big 12 teams. I'd love to see 2 ACC teams.
All right, so we've got 2 Texas Techs in the playoff from Zyler and Conrad. Clayton, you're up.
Yeah, mine is actually really, really similar to Conrad's, but in order, I have Clemson, Penn State, Bama, Texas, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Georgia, Texas Tech winning the Big 12 championship, Oregon, Florida getting in at 9-3. Baylor gets in despite losing the Big 12 championship. I think I can't remember if we talked about it last episode or if that was off air, but I think they're the only team that can get in with a loss in the championship because of their out of conference. And then Boise State.
Very solid take.
We are quickly becoming a Texas Tech / Baylor podcast here.
I know.
Obviously, with all the Baylor glaze coming in, this is unfortunate.
Yeah, this is way too much. In this scenario, though, we would host Oregon in a playoff game, which I strongly debated, like, is that wishful thinking? But I do actually have that happening in this scenario because Oregon's loss would be later in the season. So I think we'd have a shot at being ranked higher.
Oh, man, I can't get behind the Baylor going to the. I can't get behind it.
I mean, I hope it doesn't.
Right, that leaves me. That leaves me. All right, I'm Z out of the ACC. To your point on Miami, I've got Clemson in Miami. I think Carson Beck and his Snapchat account are going to do really well this year down in South Beach, and they'll be making their way to the college football playoff. I was torn between the Big Ten, honestly. I think the Big Ten could have some surprises this year. I think Nebraska's got a really good chance to do some things. Who knows what Kirk Cignetti and Indiana will do again this year. You've got Oregon, obviously, back. But I went ahead and went chalk almost with Penn State and Ohio State. I think Penn State's going to win the Big Ten. I think that this is the year. If James Franklin at Penn State needed a time to win the big game, it's now. Like, he needs to get it done at some point. I'm not saying they're going to win the national championship, but he needs to beat Ohio State in the regular season. He needs to win the Big Ten championship. Penn State, it feels like their time is here to finally get over the hump. I like Penn State winning the Big Ten. Out of the SEC, I've got Alabama winning the SEC. I think they have one of the most stacked rosters in all of college football. Their defense is going to be phenomenal this year, according to my source, who's actually a Texas Tech grad. We know him well, but he doesn't adopt. He just kind of says, "Oh, I went to Tech. Who cares? I'm an Alabama guy." Shout out Mizell. Hope you're listening. I know you're not. And then
sounds like a Texas Walmart T-shirt fan.
Yeah, Texas Walmart fan. I've got Georgia, Texas, and then I do have South Carolina because I stay true to my predictions. I love Shane Beamer. I think he reminds me a lot of Joey. He's a culture guy. He's a relationship guy. I think Lenora Sellers is going to have a really good chance to win the Heisman. They have arguably one of the best quarterbacks and defenders in all of college football. And I think they're going to make some noise. But Clayton, to your point on Florida, I could see that flip-flopping. I just like a surprise team out of the SEC. And I think after what happened last year with Bama going 9-3, South Carolina going 9-3, I think one of those teams sneaks in. Also, a point we should be making is it's different this year. If you are not aware, they're now just ranking teams 1 through 12. So this is not an automatic buy situation. Top 12 teams based off the ranking get in that order. So that's going to change something here too. So I'm going to save I've got group of 5. I got Boise. I have Notre Dame getting in as that independent. And for the Big 12, you should already know where I'm going. Might as well buy me a Utah jersey. I've got Utah winning the Big 12. I am just buying stock on Dampier. I hope I'm wrong. I just don't think I will be. Joel Klatt likes to say death taxes in Utah football. I'm kind of on that board this year as well. I think they're going to have a good rebound year. And I've got them in the playoff with the winner of the Iowa State-Kansas State game. That's my prediction. So I reserve my right to week 1. I have Texas Tech going 10-2, and I mentioned chaos earlier in the show. There's going to be like a 5-way BS tie. To Casey Cowan's point, cautious optimism. but Texas Tech always seems to get the lesser side. And I think this year it's like we're going to get there. It's a Texas Tech thing. It's no fault of the players, the coaches. We're going to get to 10-2. We're going to feel like we deserve a right, and someone's going to screw us out of the spot. I think I'm holding the right to be depressed come November 29th when we go 10-2, convinced we'll get the playoff and we'll get screwed out of a position based off points or percentages or something and lose a tiebreaker. That's what I see happening in 2025. I hope I'm wrong.
Okay.
So there's any you guys feel that way? I mean, anyone it's 3-1 on Texas Tech. Someone had to be the bad guy here. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take the brunt.
For sure.
We had to.
If 4 of us put Tech in the playoff, we're not being real journalists. We're not being real podcasters. Someone's got to be the bad guy here. I'll take it.
Well,
Roast me.
I'd like to have a
Brennan,
conversation on what a real podcaster is. We need to have that.
Yeah,
We'll make
should.
someone a real podcaster.
yeah.
This right here.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
got
this
it.
right here.
If you got a boom,
fellowship.
if you got a boom thing, you've made it.
If you got a sure mic, you've made it. That's the standard.
You've made it, man.
I think I'm
Proof.
being held back. Somebody said I had first house out of college apartment level blinds behind me, and I think that's holding me back from being a real podcaster. So
That's probably
shout out to
true.
the haters.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know I'm gonna get roasted. It's okay. I have thick skin. I'm used to it, man. I grew up short, so
Well,
it's
Brennan,
fine. I've been bullied before. I can be bullied again.
Brennan, you do realize that you didn't take the tag off your boom arm stick, right? And it's looking out at us like an eyesore.
Come on, man. QR code. QR code. We're sponsored.
Hey, you gonna return that thing or something? I don't
No,
know.
man,
You
I
had to
love
test
this
it
thing.
out.
This is a game
Yeah.
changer, man. I get to move around. My back's not hurting bad. You guys should invest. I think they're like $50. These things are
No.
killer.
Yeah.
I love
Maybe
it,
from
man.
our
Okay,
YouTube
so let's
ads
get
and
to
stuff
our.
like that. We can all get one.
Oh man, crazy stuff going on our YouTube channel. By the way, if you still haven't subscribed yet, please do. All right, so Final Four and national champion. We've said playoff. Who's winning it all?
Well, I guess I went first the last time, so I should probably go first again. Yeah, it's tough because anything can happen in the playoff. Refs can be on the side of the Longhorns and screw Arizona State out of a victory that they should have had. Crazy stuff happens in the playoff. I think I'll go Final Four. I think I'm going to go LSU. I really believe in Garrett Nussmeier. That's a hint at the future for me. I do believe in Julian Sayin, so I think Ohio State, just with that roster, is going to get back there. So I'll say LSU, Ohio State. And then I think I'm also a Penn State believer, and so I think that Penn State can get there. It's hard for me to say that just because of their history and losing the big game and all that stuff, but I think I'll just go out on a limb. It'll be kind of my Utah, I think it's going to happen, but I could be very wrong. And then I'll do it. I'll be that guy. I'll pick the Red Raiders to make it to the Final Four. The Red Raiders will make it to the Final Four, and then I think I'm going to pick LSU to win the national championship. So,
Wow.
I guess I think
You believe in Brian Kelly that much?
I believe in Garrett Nussmeier and their insane transfer portal class that they also brought in. So, I do think Brian Kelly's actually a really good coach. So, I'll go, Ohio State, Penn State, LSU, and Texas Tech. I will say that LSU would probably they would take care of us. I don't know what the score would be, but that would kind of be my initial thought of what that would look like, and then we could see what happens after that. Am I crazy? Am I way off base? Am I totally doing something crazy, or what do you think? Texas Tech in the Final Four? Yes or no?
Totally depends on the path. I truly have no good feel on who's going to win the title this year. I think there are 10-ish teams I think you can make a really reasonable case for. I'm going to go with Penn State and Clemson in the champ. I'm going to go with the guys that have at least proven they're really good. I think the floors are much lower with these teams that are breaking in new quarterbacks. If you're Alabama, I don't believe in Gunnar Stockton for Georgia. Michigan, like some of those teams, I'm just like, not all of these QBs are going to hit, and the floor is going to be a lot lower than everybody thinks they're going to hit at their ceiling. So I'll just take the two teams that I know have at least good quarterbacks, maybe not great. So I'll take Clemson and Penn State, and I'll take Penn State as the champion this year. If that roster can't get it done, I don't think James Franklin is ever going to get it done. So that's who I'll have winning it this year.
Clayton?
Yeah, I'll go with Final Four: Clemson, Penn State, Bama, and Georgia, and I'll have Clemson and Bama in the title game, or excuse me, Penn State, Bama in the title game, and I think Penn State gets it done finally. I think they just have so few like holes in their roster. They have the best DC in college football now. You know, 2 good running backs, good quarterback. So I think this is finally the year they get it done. I know all the talk about them in big games, but there's been so many coaches and programs throughout the year who have had that same sentiment said about them, and they eventually break through. So
Ryan Day.
Yeah,
Ryan
exactly.
Day had that,
Yep.
It does feel like I mentioned earlier for Penn State. It just feels like now, Zyler, I thought that was a great point. Now or when it's now or never, it feels like for James Franklin. Like it's got to happen. It feels like at some point he's built a great program. The roster is stacked. To Clayton's point, I like the Penn State pick. Before I go mine, Conrad, I got it off, by the way. I don't know if you saw that while you're talking. But
we watched you
gone.
take it
Yep,
off.
it was great.
So.
It was riveting.
Was that impressive? Were you guys excited with how I was able to do that?
Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
I've got Clemson winning it all. I think that defensive front, their secondary is stacked. I think Cade Klubnik's one of the best quarterbacks in all football. Veteran leadership. I think the Dabo hate talk over the last few years has been a little over dramatized with the lack of NIL use, transfer portal. Dabo's another guy. Culture, just consistency, stability over time. I love Clemson's roster this year. ACC is very winnable. I could see them going undefeated in the ACC. I think they'll beat LSU week 1. So, Conrad, we've got LSU, we've got Clemson, Penn State, and Z. Who did you say?
Penn State.
Penn State. So we've got 2 Penn States. That's
2 Tigers,
kind of surprising.
and then 2 LSU
And 2
Tigers,
Tigers.
Clemson Tigers.
Yeah. So there are our championship picks. I'll go ahead and go. I also think Cade Klubnik's going to win the Heisman. I think it's something that, look, last year, he played well against Texas on the road. I thought that he held his own. He got a playoff game under his belt on the road in Austin. Team just didn't have the depth that I think this team has this year. So I've got Cade winning the Heisman, and I've got Clemson winning it all. So, Conrad, I feel like you're going to go. You've already hinted at it, so you might as well go ahead.
Yeah.
Me and you are on the same boat here, just opposite Tiger teams.
Yeah. I'm going to go Garrett Nussmeier. I think he probably would have been a first round pick this year in the NFL. I think he's just an absolute stud. I think having the year he had last year and then having another year coming back with the talent he's got, I believe in him. I believe in that team. I think what you're going to see from LSU this year, I don't know. It's obviously not going to be 2019 LSU because no team will ever touch the best team ever in college football, which in my opinion is 2019 LSU. But I think Garrett is going to have a fantastic year. And I think he holds up the Heisman in New York in December.
All right, Zyler, Clayton.
Yeah, I've actually listened to a lot of stuff about Heisman. I listen to a lot of betting content. I think it's a really interesting way to look at the game if you can separate yourself from, being an actual sports bettor. Just people that have money on the line tend to make more informed decisions than, let's say, podcasters who can say stuff without, any sort of repercussions. I think the market around the Heisman has changed a lot post 2020, and you really have to have some momentum going in, and you don't have to be the quarterback on the best team. I think the best player wins it more often now than they ever have. And I think the best player in college football is Jeremiah Smith. I think he's got a real shot to have an excellent, excellent season. His QB has no name right now. Nobody really knows who he is. And Jeremiah is going to get all of the credit for any of those yards that he puts up. I think he's got a really good chance to be, I think, the second receiver this millennia to hoist a Heisman. I don't remember if that's actually correct, but he's going to be my case. He's got the hype before the season. People already know who he is, and he should be on a really good team. So that'll be my pick is Jeremiah Smith, future Hall of Famer. He's gonna win the Heisman this year.
Looks like it. Yeah.
Are you tanking for him in our dynasty?
Yes, I actually am. So if you have 2027 firsts in my dynasty, I will take all offers. I was reading something. Did y'all see that report that we checked in? This is on Red River Sports. So if you're not on Red River Sports, get on there. We checked in with Jeremiah Smith in January, just so people are aware. We wanted to kind of see what the asking price was. So that would have been electric to see Jeremiah Smith in that jersey. But
was it the
15 million
amount that we've spent total? Yeah. Was it?
I've heard his compensation is it's like somewhere between like 5 and 7 million. I've obviously never seen any of that. That's like the rumored number. That's like more than probably all but 5 quarterbacks are making this year. That's
Wow.
If we checked in with him, then we probably checked in with Ryan Williams and a bunch of other good players, good receivers.
Which
Yeah,
did we
if you-
tamper? Is that tampering?
Nah, we just
No,
checked
they
in and
reached
see
out
what
to
he was
us.
doing.
Just check on him.
He wanted to come down to Lubbock.
Yeah, Ryan Williams' agent called Tech.
Yeah.
Clay, why don't you go ahead, man? I know where you're going with this. Might as well just keep the glaze on Jeremiah Smith going.
Yeah, man. Zyler literally stole everything I was going to say. But, dude, he is so
I'm
perfectly
sorry.
set up to win the Heisman as a receiver because, like Zyler said, he has a QB that hasn't started before, so people don't know him. He's already had his breakout year. So, like, people are watching for Jeremiah Smith, and he's on a good team. Whereas, you know, if he was on, like, Texas, then he has a great season. Arch is just going to win the Heisman. But he has a QB who's not getting Heisman hype to start the year. So he's going to have a great year, and he's going to be up there.
Okay, so to y'all's, I got a trivia question. There have been 2 receivers to win the Heisman in the last 35 years. Can you name the 2 receivers?
I think I know.
Devontae Smith and
Z, you're allowed to answer. He's like, what?
Well, no, actually, I don't think I know.
Travis Hunter.
Oh,
Okay. Wow. There's 3. There's 3. Travis, I don't think Travis was actually listed. The other guy was listed. I believe
Because he was defensive back, wide receiver,
yes,
whatever,
but
like
the
a
other
utility
one
player.
was also utility, but mainly
it's Desmond Howard.
receiver.
Was it going to be Desmond Howard? That's what I was going
Desmond
to say.
Howard. Yep.
I didn't
Yeah.
know if he was a running back, but
No, he was a
Okay.
receiver. Yeah, and then a returner.
Okay.
But so good job, Desmond Howard, and yeah, true wide receivers, I guess. Travis Hunter, I think, the cornerback helped him, so it wasn't. But yeah, great job,
Sure.
guys. So 3 for 3. So Zyler and Clayton, y'all are aligned here. You've got Penn State winning the national championship, Jeremiah Smith winning the Heisman. So and then Texas Tech making the playoff. Great predictions. You guys sound like you know ball. I'm definitely going to get the most brunt out of this whole entire episode for sure.
no,
we'll
I
see.
put Texas Tech in the Final Four, Brennan.
Yeah, but you're on a Texas Tech podcast.
Yeah, you're
that's
right.
fine.
Yeah,
I
but
had
that still doesn't.
people are gonna.
That still doesn't make it like. Never mind. I could say a lot there, but I will say the similarities between Zyler and Clayton go deep. I mean, it's same high school, same college, went to the same college at that college. Picking Penn State. Picking Jeremiah Smith.
Did you guys ever
where
date-
do the similarities?
You guys ever
end?
date the same girl? You guys ever have a crush on the same girl growing up?
Not that I'm aware of.
Are y'all,
Not that I'm aware of.
You're married to 2 different women. I know that, but like growing up, did you have a crush? 6th grade, 7th? Anyone? Anyone you'd like to shout out?
No, not at this point in time.
Not,
No.
yeah, probably smart, man. Well, when we get back next week, it's football time. Like
Yeah.
We'll have
our
games
Monday,
to talk about.
we'll have games to talk about on our Monday show. Iowa State and Kansas State will have happened. That's coming up on Saturday, and then we've got a ton to look ahead. So next week, it's finally here, man. I cannot wait. We will have stuff to finally talk about. So. Then we appreciate all of you who tuned into the episode. So make sure to follow us on all of our social medias. The links will be in the description. Download the Texas Tech app, and you can find us and a ton of other content on the Texas Tech Plus side of that. And then make sure to subscribe and follow on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. So for Zyler, Conrad, and Clayton, I am Brennan, and we will see you guys next time on the Broadway Shuffle. Wreck 'em.
He makes the catch. He's going